So, as of this recording, it's been exactly 7 days since the report from Automotive News came out announcing not just one, not just two, but 3 cars being built by GM on the Alpha 2.2 platform, and one of them is described as a Camaro replacement. Up until now, I haven't seen anything officially from GM saying it's going to be a Camaro, but whatever it is they're going to build, that car has to do one thing above all else. It's going to seem easy, it's going to sound obvious, but if it was that easy and obvious, the Camaro wouldn't have been discontinued twice. Now, if this new Chevrolet Alpha 2 platform car meets some base expectations and has a Camaro nameplate on it, the first people to look at it, give it a serious look, and possibly buy it first will be the core Camaro customer base. Investors and collectors will also give it a hard look. Being the first in a new generation, they'll buy it as an investment. Possibly. Those things are pretty much a given. But that by itself isn't going to be enough to make this car a success. Now, this car has to appeal to other buyers. Maybe even lure over some people from Mustang and the new Charger that maybe they're not satisfied with what's going on with Mustang and Charger right now. We've also got to appeal to the average buyer, the buyer that may have always wanted to get a muscle car, thought about getting a muscle car, but it just wasn't right for them at the time for whatever reason. Maybe now it is. It's people like that Chevrolet has to bring over to buy this car. So what's going to make that happen? I mean, a great design, obviously. Features, price, all of that comes together to present the value proposition for that average car buyer. Now, the value proposition of a new car varies by the car and the target customer of said car. To fully understand that distinction, you only have to go as far back as the 2024 Camaro ZL1 Panther Edition, Collector Edition. Now, basically, that car was a regular ZL1 with a $14,495 paint and sticker package and an assigned digit from 001 to 350, trying to be something special to mark the last of a generation. And with an MSRP between $95,000 and $99,000, as I recall, between coupe and convertible, in spite of dealer markups of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or more, people just paid through the nose to get them. I even highlighted what I thought, or what I saw to be the worst egregious example of dealer markup. Here you see a window sticker for a 2024 Camaro Collector Edition Coupe that's going to Rod Hatfield Chevrolet in Lexington, Kentucky. MSRP of $96,545, which is in line with the price of a convertible at $100,000. Still expensive. But when you go to this dealer's website, this very vehicle, this stock number, this VIN, they are selling for $200,000, which translates into $96,545 for the car and a $115,000 fee to take your anal virginity. And like I said, people paid it. Why did people pay such crazy prices for these cars without batting an eye? The value proposition for that car was different. Last of a generation, named a collector edition. I don't know the actual numbers, but the high majority of the buyers of those cars were people that would buy them and park them. Investors, collectors for the collector edition. Or investors or flippers that would buy them, let them appreciate a little bit, and sell them. I mean, I've seen a few go across the block on Mecum Auto Auctions. I don't remember what they sold for. I don't know if these people made their money back. But unless you know different out there, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that basically nobody bought a ZL1 Collector Edition to be their daily driver. It was worth it for them to buy what is perceived to be a special car that would go up in value. Now, had General Motors made the Collector Edition ZL1 just a special edition for the 2024 model year and had not discontinued the car, I don't think they would have sold as well. There probably wouldn't have been that high markup because the value proposition of a collector edition package on a car that's not being discontinued is different than a car that was. So with that being said, what does that mean with regards to this new car? Well, in my opinion, more people than ever before are listening to guys like Dave Ramsey and other financial people out there, and they all say the same thing. Don't ever buy a brand new car. As soon as you roll off the lot, it loses 30-40% of its value and depreciation, and it's just not a good thing to do with regards to your own personal wealth. Now, from my own experience, I mean, I full well knew this when I ordered Bruce here, the 2023 Camaro LT1 in the shark skin metallic. I ordered it. I knew when I drove it off the lot, it was going to lose a ton of value, but it had what I wanted. The value proposition to me was the V8, new car, and at the time I thought it was going to be potentially one of the last Camaros. Now, I had originally bought it to be my daily driver, which I was hesitant about, but then when I found that the dealer didn't want to give me what I wanted for the dirty daily, I kept it, was able to park this. I drive it every now and again, kind of keep the engine healthy, and I have a lot of fun with it. I got a pretty good interest rate on my financing, and for me, it was a good buy, even though everybody else would have said, don't do it. They would have said, buy a used one, so let somebody else take the depreciation hit. Now, the value proposition isn't only about price. People have to believe they're getting their money's worth, whatever that price is. The car has to feel like it's worth it. You sit inside, it has to have a premium feel. A performance variant of this car, I believe, is not going to be anything less than $50,000. And that's, for the average buyer right now in this economy, with interest rates as they are, that's pretty expensive. They want to lure these buyers in that are going to ignore the advice and not buy a brand new car because of the depreciation when you drive it off the lot. Then it has to be worth it. They have to sit inside, and it has to feel solid. It has to feel premium. It has to feel and give the impression that it's going to last. I mean, one thing to do is, maybe upgrade some of the materials on the inside. One of the problems I've always heard people had with the 6th generation Camaro is on the interior, some people just says it feels cheap. The plastic just seems cheap. And maybe it doesn't feel quite as solid and robust as some other cars at that price point. GM has to balance the expense with the build. One way for GM to do that might be to negotiate with their suppliers. And for the example of the interior, maybe negotiate for some upgraded materials and frame it to them as, you sell us these materials, these interior parts at this price, say 60% of what they normally would. The car will be a success, and we'll be able to buy 10 times more from you over time. Get them to play the long game. I mean, here's something else that the average buyer isn't aware of, and I didn't know it until I went in and was looking to order or looking at the new car, was just the other things, the ownership costs that go with these new engines. I don't know what the new engine will be, but let's just use the LT1 as an example. It was a little bit of a sticker shock when I was told it took 10 quarts of oil. It gave me pause when I heard that it had to run on 93 octane to run right. These were expenses I didn't initially anticipate, but I accepted and adapted. Other buyers may not be so accommodating in this economy. I mean, there's got to be enough car, enough appeal, enough appreciation to justify in the buyer's mind 60-month, 72-month, 84-month financing if they go that route. I mean, they're going to be parting ways with probably a hefty sum for a down payment, plus the long-term financing given the way interest rates are. Or maybe they're in a better position to buy cash, which would make it a whole lot different as far as that value proposition goes. They've got to make sure that driving down the road, it doesn't rattle. Like I said, I hate going back to the word premium, but it's got to feel and drive like it's worth it. The buyer needs to look at the costs of purchase, look at the cost of ownership, weigh that against the car, whether it be how they feel when they drive it, how it performs, how reliable it is. All of those expenses have to feel like a bargain. If GM can make that happen with this new car, whatever it is, a Camaro, not a Camaro, four-door, or any of the other stupid things I don't want to talk about, that's going to be their best chance of selling a hell of a lot of these cars. I mean, if it's a Camaro, you've got to sell at least as much as Mustang does. At least. And right now, Mustang sales are in the toilet, so that kind of helps. I know I've rambled on a little bit. Hopefully, I've made sense. I know it's something that, like I said, sounds easy, sounds obvious, but if everybody could do it, everything that gets put up for sale would be a hit. And GM has to know that they can't cheap out on things that matter if they want to get that new car buyer, the average person that maybe wouldn't have considered a Camaro before. This is what it's going to take. And surely GM has people looking at these various questions that I've just posed here today. But I want to know what you think. I mean, is it just the value proposition? Do you think it needs something else to appeal to the customer to be a success? Let me know in a comment below. But until next time, I'm JR. I am out.